Hey, good morning, everybody. What is about to follow is a conversation that took place between myself and Mauricio Milne-Jones. And apologies to Mauricio if I'm butchering your second name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Mauricio is a colleague and is a friend of mine. And he also is a terminal cancer patient. Mauricio and I had a few talks recently, and at the end of every talk, I was somewhat feeling a little bit different, and our discussions have helped me to reshape many priorities in my life. I found talking with Mauricio very useful to the point that I thought it could be useful for other people too, to hear two people talking about this rarely discussed matter. So this time I thought to record one of our conversations, and Mauricio agreed with it, to be able to share his thoughts and my thoughts about certain life matters with you all. Without further ado, here is my almost 2-hour-long talk with Mauricio about life and death. I'm not a video maker, so I apologize in advance. We had some technical issues, but the content that matters, it's safe, and here we go.
Okay. Go for it.
Here we are. So, to anyone that doesn't know your story, let's begin with who you are and what's your condition right now.
Well, my name is Mauricio, and I was diagnosed with cancer about end of 2014. It was a emergency surgery. I didn't feel anything before that would make any trigger that would say, hey, you have something wrong. I was basically feeling normal. I'd ride my bike to work every other day. It was about 50 odd Ks every day to
sporty person.
To get to work and back. And one day I was riding home. It was Christmas Eve, and we left work early. It was just a Christmas celebration party. And probably about midday, 1 o'clock, I was riding home, and I started feeling a little bit unwell. And then I thought it was just dehydrated because it was in the sun, and I probably ran out of water, whatever, and told my wife that I wasn't feeling 100%, that just needed a little bit of a rest. We had the dinner, celebrating Christmas, and then after I almost passed out, and they rushed me to surgery first thing on the 3rd.
So basically your Christmas gift was
the Christmas was feeling ill, and the beginning of January was finding the beautiful gift of cancer. So in the surgery, I went for emergency surgery, but when they opened up, they found the cancer. And at the time, they didn't find anything anywhere else, so I was just sent to do chemotherapy to minimize the chances of metastasis elsewhere.
So this was the first time, because ever since we know each other, you've been through the first cycle of
yes,
chemo.
It was
end up positively, I will say.
Yeah, then in January.
All that celebration.
In January I started So I left the hospital at the end of January, and was supposed to start on February the chemotherapy. They couldn't find any tumor or any trace of cancer anymore.
And that was a great news.
So it was a great news. It was just before Christmas, and
so one Christmas was the
Christmas was
the
celebration afterwards. I went for a ride again after 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that felt to get back on a bike after all that you've been through?
Yeah. That was something that I really want to do. Was to get back on the bike. Was great to go up the hills again and feel the wind going down. But yeah, after that, by February 2016, I started feeling a little bit unwell again, and then they found new tumors in my liver.
And so you started back fighting.
So yeah, we did again. Straight from March, I think I started again chemotherapy. It was not considered remission anymore. It was like there was a technical term, I can't remember exactly.
We are not making
this is definitely, I definitely said a whole bunch of wrong terms already, and I'll probably do a whole bunch more.
Okay, I'm sure the surgeon out there won't use this video to learn from. That's not
but yeah, then it went to, I think it was something like a radiology remission or radiological remission. I don't know what the term was used, but it regressed from the original tumors regressed with the SERT spheres, but there was still activity in my bloodstream. The chemotherapy is not being effective anymore, and literally there's very little options in terms of chemotherapy that would control the cancer.
This is the reason why I wanted to talk with you about this topic. Because nowadays in our society, it's talking about that is considered a bit of an inconvenient topic, something people shy away from. Although every one of us sooner or later have to deal with it. Yeah. So I thought it would have been. It was about the time to get a coffee and chit chat about
great
that.
Coffee.
Because it's something normal after all.
Yeah, it's everybody is gonna
I
eventually
want to remove this hell of mystery and certainty. I just want to talk about that because that's something real, concrete that each and every one of us has to deal with at some point.
For sure.
And on the other hand, I wanted to share your experience because sometimes we focus so much on little things that it looks gigantic to us. And I thought that probably listening your experience could help some people to put things in proportion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think everybody goes through their own life, and I think everybody had their own issues to deal with, being bigger or smaller, but for whoever is living, it's always a big problem. Like there's no way to say, oh no, your problem is bigger or smaller than mine.
Of course, it's not a challenge.
I'm
suffering more than you.
Everybody goes through their own stuff. That's how life goes, I guess. And so it's just yeah.
I agree. I mean, what I say is not to diminish
No,
everyone personal drama. It's more.
I think
there is an objective level in which.
I think in the end, what I take from my experience, there's no way to make it. There's no way to solve everybody's problem. Like there's literally no way to say, hey.
Because life is pain, right?
Yeah, exactly. We are gonna go through and we'll suffer. We're gonna laugh and we're gonna cry and so my patches. I have full patches here and they're itching as hell. But the only way that I see, at least, that make it easier is to share and laugh it out and cry together and enjoy the time that we have.
The importance of being part of a community or
exactly,
or something. Actually, this is something I wanted to ask you. Did you notice, ever since you found out about this cancer, that people somewhat shy away, or did you felt more isolated from?
There are, I think
your
that
circle of friendship. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think both. I think the two extremes happen. I think there were people that were quite close before, and the shock of the cancer, it's too much to handle, and then they step back and need to deal their own way, and also there were friends or colleagues or people that yes I was had a good relation with, but never considered like a best of friends or anything like that. But the community around, like friends of friends, it's amazing. Like how
even people that you
I
don't
never
directly connect.
I never met the people that I never met.
That's interesting.
And suddenly, yeah, they're there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So would you say that your faith in mankind is being renewed after your experience?
It's not that the faith in mankind was ever
you never lost it.
Not there, but
I was not there. Like you never had faith in mankind.
no, but for me is it really showed the importance of a community that I didn't necessarily thought of it before. Like I was really surprised with people from the community that I live, that pretty much everybody came around and offer help.
So you didn't experience isolation in some way?
It's not really. I think there is the isolation, but it's an eternal isolation because
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, because what I'm going through, what you go through, you go alone. There's no one that knows what you're feeling or know your fears, or it's all internal. And
what are your fears?
Everything from mostly fear of leaving the people that I like, that I love.
Like the fear of the detachment, basically.
It's the fear of not being there to support my kids.
Do you think you didn't build enough support for them?
It's not a conscious thing. Okay, I know that I'm doing the best I can. And
well, that's all we can do, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
in
an ideal life, we will always like to, to build everything that we.
That's the thing. the difference between the rational mind and the emotional.
Yes.
It's not something that you can just one overtakes the other and say, hey, no,
You cannot condition one with another, of course.
You're rational, saying, okay, yes, you done everything you can. In my whole life, I never ever imagined that I would have cancer. I always thought that if I was to die, it would either be by being run over by a truck when I was on my bike, and that's what really.
Is that what would you have preferred? Actually,
no, not preferred. No.
Obviously, this is pure speculation and imaginary thinking. But if you could have picked,
no, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change anything. Really.
Because, and take my sentence with a pinch of salt. But some people may even think this would be an ideal way of passing away, like having the time of settling everything around you rather than a sudden death.
In a way it is. In a way it gave me 2 years to try to do everything that I wanted, both in relation to prepare my kids and my wife, and also time to try to sort everything out, try to live, enjoy the life as much as I could, as I can still.
As I can, because let's not forget, you're still alive.
Exactly. I wouldn't change anything. But yeah,
wow.
It's just, you need to live by the moment. There's no I mean, for me, there's no other way.
50-50, I guess. I partly agree. I mean, it's true you need to live by the moment, but on the other hand, the reason why you did that life insurance is because you were thinking further.
Yeah,
you wasn't just living by the moment back in those days.
Yes, but the thing is, you put safety nets, at least in my mind, you try to put safety nets for the future. For example, the life insurance and stuff like that. And same thing with a car insurance. You put those safety nets, but in the end, you hope that you never ever need to use it, right?
Of course.
So if you live with the fear of using it, then you may not even drive your car out of your driveway. I
mean, you could even still die by being drive over from a car to crossing the road now.
Exactly. So, and that's why I say that it's like you need to live, be happy at the moment and not worry about what is going to happen in 2 weeks' time or in 2 months' time or in 2 years' time or in two decades' time.
Don't you think this somewhat conflict with what you were saying of building a safety net that allows your children to be
I don't think it conflicts. I think it's at least in my case, it helped me to be able to enjoy life. Like, for example, I created that life insurance because I was riding every day home on a busy road. My push bike up and down and like a few close calls happened.
I guess what I'm trying to say
and then I said, oh, well, maybe if I want to avoid the fear of like what would happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's better
like
to...
You build safety net so you don't have to concern about being thoughtless.
Yes.
But I think, some people may take this message like, well, if I only have to live on the day, why should I save money for my retirement in 20, 30 years? Why should I even open a life insurance? Because I can just spend everything I have nowadays for my happiness and enjoy the time.
Depends on what you call happiness. For me, happiness...
What do you call happiness? That's it.
Happiness for me is not what I have in terms of a phone, a TV, or a PlayStation, or a new car, or whatever. I'm happy to drive an old beaten up car that doesn't faze me at all. Like I'm not, like I don't look into clothes and say, hey, I need a new shirt.
What you're trying to say is that for you, living in the moment, it means being present.
Being present,
and
like
aware of your
of who you're with at all times and what's happening around you at all times.
Okay. So it's not like an economical way. Like
No,
out everything.
No.
I don't know. Let's shooting and skydiving. And
When I was younger and I didn't have kids and I didn't have a wife or anything dependent on me, I did do the skydiving, and I did do everything that I want to do, and I was never into spending money into things like cars or clothes or whatever. I was always, I'm happy. On the other hand, I wouldn't say, don't spend money on a new car or a new bike if that's what you feel that make you happy. Like I don't like cars at all. For me, car is just a way to get from A to B. But I enjoy bikes. Yeah, I enjoy bikes, and if I could, I would have a shiny new bike and full of of everything and be happy with it. But I'm also quite happy on riding my same, now it's probably 5 years old bike that does the same thing as the new one. I'm not a pro racer, so I'm not going to be disputing every second on the finish line. So for me, it's just fun. It's just a fun thing. And as a toy, it has its value for me, but it's not something that I said, don't put that money in there because you need to put it elsewhere, or don't put it elsewhere.
So you will say that ideally it's not like black and white, where to spend the money or where to save money. It all has to be processed throughout your critical thinking and evaluated according with what really matters in your personal specific situation.
Definitely.
I'm back. I want to make some
great coffee.
Italian coffee.
So, it's never black and white, and it's never one truth for all.
I think I got what you mean. It's like to say a bike, it may cost, I don't know, let's say $300. I'm just finding a number. But for me, I'm not a biker personally, so for me, $300 could be saved for something more useful. But what biking represents for you is way above $300. So for you, that $300, it's well invested.
Spent. Yeah,
it's well invested. Probably something where I would invest money would be a waste for you or for someone else. But what it represents for me, so it's not the definition of where and how you spend money itself, but it's what it represents for each and everyone.
Yeah.
I like it.
Put another zero in that 300, and then we start, and we get into the bottom of where.
If you are thinking of picking up a sport pick, I don't know, Pong.
Pong is a good one.
Okay, Pong is cheaper than biking.
So, it's whatever makes you happy, and for me, it's not things. It's people. Like I was saying about work, I enjoy going to work and meeting people, and when I'm at work, I will spend 100% of my time focusing work, trying to sort out what we need to sort out with the people that are there. As soon as I walk out of the door, work kind of it's done, locked off, and I'm focusing on something else, and it's family, or is it whatever I'm doing next is the most important thing of that moment.
This is something that really impressed me of you. It's like even in this situation, you keep coming in our office every day. I wouldn't say like nothing happened, but almost like nothing happened. It's like you kept going ahead with the same rituals, with the same strength. Almost if you.
Yeah, for me
it's like why? How did you manage? Let me try to shape a question, because I have so many thoughts. How did you manage to keep the cool in a situation that would have break anyone else? How did you remain unbreakable?
It's not unbreakable. I definitely broke a few times. But it's that thing that I was talking about, being happy and being 100% at the moment. For me, it's that thing. I go to work and I don't need to think about the disease. I don't need to think about cancer. I don't need to think about the medication that I'm on or the pain that I'm gonna have whenever. Was that close to what you were?
Voila.
Thank you very much.
It's like some people probably in your situation will turn into someone nihilistic, someone that why to do anything? Nothing matters anymore. It's like why do you even wake up? Why do you even live? It's like, some people probably will think about suiciding before cancer will do the job.
Yeah, I think for me it's two things. One is, yes, I always had the drive to keep going, and I think I always will just try to keep moving on and see what happens in the next step. Like I don't know if like the prognosis of having now, it's between, well, it was 3 to 6 months from a month ago, so you can say
you were supposed to be that long ago.
So
here you are.
It started a couple of years ago. It said it's 1 year, then a year later there was another year, and then recently it's 3 to 6 months. And
we are gonna have another interview in 1 year from now.
I hope so.
And you are gonna tell us how did you make it.
But we never know when what's going to happen, if I die tomorrow, if I die in a month's time, or if I die 6 months or a year. It will happen eventually, either by cancer, by the chemotherapy drugs, which at the moment is what's affecting me the most, or by an accident crossing the street, whatever.
This is very interesting. So you're saying that you're not giving up to this situation as somewhat make you appreciate the extra time that life is giving you unexpectedly, because doctors say that you are supposed to be gone months ago.
Yeah, it's like, it's hard to say, but there's no precise math there. That's one thing that when I spoke to my kids about the prognosis, said it's not like they're gonna say, it's expiry date. You have 30 days to live, and then 29 and 28 and 27, and then suddenly, oh yeah, well, see you tomorrow. No, you won't, because tomorrow is
sorry, I'm going to die.
yeah.
I'm going to be back soon.
Yeah, tomorrow is the last day. It's not like that. It's a progression.
Have you ever thought about suiciding?
No.
So you never
No.
thought of putting an end to this by your
No,
own?
never. Never thought of suicidal, never had suicidal thoughts or anything like that. It literally never crossed my mind. And
what would you say to people, maybe adolescents or maybe kids, that think the world is completely against them, and they are probably pondering the idea of suiciding because they can't take all this pain on their own? What would you say to these people?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't have an answer because I never experienced that. But from my perspective, it's worth sticking around. It's worth living and being around people and sharing experiences. Today, yes, it may be awful, like it was for me a few weeks ago, when after the last batch of chemo, I pretty much stayed in bed for 2 weeks without being able to do anything. It was just in bed. I would wake up, walk to the TV room. By the time I got to the TV room, I was exhausted already and had to lay down. And it was awful. But
despite that,
yeah, it's worth, because you know that, yes, it's awful today, it may be awful tomorrow, but if it picks up, and yeah, so far for me, it's always picked up.
So it's almost like, say, that one moment of happiness that happens once every blue moon, it's worth the 1,000 days of darkness everyone goes through.
It's worth, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, one thing that I talked to my wife when we were discussing about end of life, and so there's a document that you write down what procedures you want and do not want to have in each specific situation.
Yeah. So that in case of emergency, they know
how to treat my case. And we were talking and trying to understand each other's point of view. And for me, it's hard to say, because, well, I'm already there. I'm already here, so
you are late.
yeah. So it's like, well,
it's harder to track the line.
Yeah, to say what is what, but in the end, we were to go back to the point that we were having about if it's worth or not. I said, having 2 weeks in bed, and then that one moment.
We can take a break if you.
No, it's okay. And have that one moment where a kid comes around again.
It's okay. Let's take a break.
I need to say it, because otherwise, no matter when I say it, sure, I'm gonna cry.
Then, okay, you cry, I cry, yeah, everybody cries.
Yeah. The moment that a kid comes around and gives a hug, or
it's worth everything.
Yeah.
I understand.
That would do anything.
I guess what you're trying to say is that it's hard to describe the beautiness of that magical instant that happens. Whenever they happens, it can be, a moment with your kids. It can be
anything, but
but
that one split second of happiness, it's infinite better and stronger than all the pain.
Let's talk religion. Shall we?
Yeah. From a totally non-religious person, but yes, let's go.
Have you ever been religious in the past?
No, not. I don't follow any specific religion.
Maybe religion is a bit of a broad term because it means you belong to a specific religion.
Yeah.
But do you believe in an idea of God or entity, something bigger than us, ruling the energies of the universe?
I don't think of a God, or I don't necessarily believe in a God or a being that is in control or has power over the lot. I do believe in energy, but yes, it's funny because I don't follow any specific
I'm
belief
not talking
or
about rituals in terms of, we repeat dogmatic structure because we believe in this, I don't know, in Christianity rather than in Buddhism, rather than in other religions. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you believe in an afterlife somewhat?
Yeah, my wife keeps on asking me that.
Does she believe in an afterlife?
Yes, I think she's more spiritual than I am, more religious, spiritual than I am. It's not that I don't believe in afterlife, but it's not that I do believe.
Okay. I think
it's like I don't know if it exists or not, but because there's no way for me to say, hey, there's a proof that it exists, or there's a proof that it doesn't exist, so I don't really care if it exists or not until afterwards.
I understand. I think you're trying to say that you want to believe, but you don't have sufficient elements.
It's not even that I want to believe. It's more like this. For me, I would say I don't care, but not in a rude way of I don't care about this and not think about it. It's like I don't care if there's an afterlife or not.
It doesn't really matter for you.
It doesn't really matter at this point. It's like I know that what matters for me is the now. It's what I have here.
Completely agree.
And then I will live my life the best that I can to my principles here.
Sure.
And if there's an afterlife later on, and if there's anything that comes across, fine. I live my life here as I want it. And if there's any,
the fact that there is or there is not an afterlife, it shouldn't be an excuse to behave in a different way in the present time.
Yes.
I completely agree with that.
I live for my family, for my friends, and for me, for what we can do now. And then if there's something after, there's something after.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
What do you think there is on the other side?
I don't think of the other side. That's the closest thing.
So you don't think there is another side at all?
What I think it's important for me is the legacy of memories that you live here. Mm. How you interact with people, how people remember you. How people will carry you after. For me, that's what's most important after you die, after you pass.
Here we go again after losing the image of the last 20 minutes, of the last 40 minutes or so. Where did we reach?
We were talking about memories last thing.
Memories, yes. So, what was the most valuable things in life, in your opinion?
I think it's the interaction with people. It's when you're young, we go for your own experiences, and definitely that's important, and that's worth pursuing. And I've done, yeah, my share of those. Like I mentioned before, from skydiving to swimming with sharks, swimming with manta rays, and a whole bunch of other things that are unique experiences, and I think they're important to build yourself, build your character. But in the end, it's how you share your experience and how you deal with people, and that's what's important. Yeah, the collections that you build and how you share them. For example, one day my neighbor was trying to fix a chicken coop, and he was having trouble. They're trying to do the thing. Said, "Oh yeah, I'll jump up the fence and build a door for you." And we went there, and I went there, and we put together a door for his enclosure there for the chicken, and it was a good help for him. In the same way that when I'm in need or whatever, he'll come over and help, and that's makes it easier for both of us.
What do you think is going to be of the precious memories that we collect along our life?
I think it's not...
I'm talking about that very special moment. No, don't worry about that. About that very special moment. I don't know, the first kiss that you give to your wife, or...
I think it's...
that particular event that it's important only for you and for her, or for you and for the person you're sharing it with.
In my case, like, I don't know, don't have any philosophical background to be able to explore or anything, but but my opinion is, like, I'm very practical in a way. I think that, for example, those memories, I carry those memories within myself the same way, like you mentioned the first kiss, or when I started dating my wife and we first started dating, or that's a special moment just for the two of us. I carry my side of the story, and she carries her side of the story. When I pass away, my side of the story, like, it'll be gone. It'll be gone with me. There's no way to make anyone else feel that way, because it was something that only I experienced. Even though there was myself and my wife, or my now wife, but she carried her experience from her side of the story and not from my side of the story, and she will carry that for her whole life. So I carry the experience with my grandparents, for example, and they are no longer here, but I carry that story with me.
Okay, so is this somewhat related to your to the fear we were talking about earlier? The fact that...
Yeah, I think that's what, for me, it's important, is like how...
It's like the fear of being forgotten.
It's not the fear of being forgotten. It's not a fear. Like, it's more the hope that you'll be remembered by the good things and not by the bad things. Because no one is perfect.
Okay.
Everybody will have a good day and a bad day.
Of course.
And so, although everybody tries to live by their own, like, to their own conscience, and
we try to be the
best that we can
yes.
within our conscience, within our ethics and everything. But everybody's different. Everybody has its better moments and worst moments. And so, for me, at this stage in life, it's like, oh, just hope that I'll have more of the good time than the bad memories.
That you manage to leave more of a good track of yourself in other people rather than a negative impression. Yes, it makes sense. Sense.
I think that's...
I think you are managing pretty good.
We'll try.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what do you think was your greatest achievement in life?
My kids?
Your kids. Wow. You didn't even thought. You was like, bam, my kids.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. You don't even need to think about that. How come? Well,
did
you always wanted to have kids?
No.
Because that's an important point. Because, there is a lot of people nowadays that distorted from what the media and the society make us think. They always believe, oh, I'm never going to have a family, I'm never going to have kids. That's not my thing.
No, I never, I mean, growing up, I never thought of kids. I was always like, hey, yeah, eventually I'll have kids, but never really thought too much about it.
You're saying that you was one of those people, actually, one of those people that wasn't thinking about family planning or anything like that.
Not until, like, I didn't want kids until I wanted kids.
Yeah. And then you make it happen, and once it happened, you were like, this
is it. Like,
this is the meaning.
Yeah, I thought things would go, but when I had my first kid, I said, no, wait a second, change this totally. I want as many kids as I can.
So why did you stop at 2?
At 3.
At 3, sorry.
Because it's too expensive to have more.
Still expensive.
Yes.
Australia needs to work on the welfare for more than 3 kids.
Yes, and we already pushing to have 3 kids was long, and in the second and third were twins, so it was a bonus one.
What would you say to all that people that is thinking your same thing, is thinking like you back in the days, is thinking a family, is not something I want. I'm good by my own.
Yeah, it is like it's a life choice, and you need to be comfortable where you are, right? So I know people on the 2 sides.
Yeah.
And I know people like myself that were always like, kids, maybe, but not.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm not talking about like specific case, like people that willingly decided not to at some point in their life. I'm talking more about the like adolescent people that think they know it all about life.
Adolescent is like, don't have kids.
they are going to be like, by the age of 17 or 18, they already think, oh, I'm never going to have kids.
Yeah, no, it's too young to decide anything. It's too young to even have an opinion.
You are too young to have an opinion.
If you're gonna have kids or not, or if it's live your life, enjoy, and when the time comes, you see, I'm not gonna force you to have kids.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That would be even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't force anyone because it's a duty that you
need to be,
has to willingly.
Yeah, you need to be ready because it changes everything. It changes your whole life from one day to the next. It's totally different. Everything that you thought you knew or you thought you was one way, it's going to be different. For me, it's the best thing ever.
The best thing ever. This is a beautiful message, personally, I think. Wow. So Yeah, that's your greatest achievement, in your opinion.
For sure.
Amazing.
For sure.
Do you believe in cause and effect, like causality in general? Like the principle, the idea that things happens because of a reason or
No,
because
kind
of something
of.
happened before?
I think of consequences. I believe in consequences, that everything you do will have a consequence. Right?
Okay.
But not necessarily of cause and effect in terms of, oh yeah, I'm sick now because of something
Okay.
that I've done or didn't do in the past.
So not in a karmic way.
Not in a comic way, yes. It may be a consequence of, I don't know, eating unhealthy foods or stressing out too much, or so it may be a consequence of something that I've done, but not necessarily the karma of doing something
Sure.
that it will come back as a cancer or as this or that.
I was thinking about this because, sometimes life doesn't respond like we imagine. Well, most of the time,
Yeah,
I would
never.
say life doesn't respond
Never.
like we imagine to our expectation. But the thing is that when something goes wrong in our life, we never know if it's because of our fault or it's because the world is just an unfair place to live at.
I think it's a bit of both.
It's a bit of both.
Yes.
That's a good answer.
It is, because world is unfair, life is unfair. Yes, it is. I don't think it's fair to anyone.
Okay.
Because
So you think life is never fair?
Well, no, I don't think life is fair in the terms of like fairness in equality. It's not. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people dying of hunger or suffering from several diseases or malnutrition or the environment going pear-shaped or whatever. It's not fair. Definitely not fair. And also, there's a lot to do with because what we do with life. So we live in a way that, encourage difference, encourage a whole bunch of things that, it's too big of a discussion to have. But that maybe increase this unfairness of life.
Do you feel like life has been unfair with you?
It's funny because yes, I think it is, but like it's been to everybody. And if you think of cancer, and you think of the risks of cancer or not risks, but the high risk group. Okay. I was out of every high risk group.
Yeah, so it's like winning a bad lottery.
Yes, like to say, you should, like, if you smoke, you have more risk of cancer. I never smoked. If you eat unhealthy, I was never the healthiest eater, but I was also never the most extreme. I never was too heavy in junk food. I never was a heavy meat eater, or I don't like fat foods or heavy food. So that's again not on my list.
Is keep exceeding. Smoke.
Do whatever you think is right.
Take drugs, eat shit, and you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, it's the luck of the draw. Yeah, it's the luck of the draw.
Sarcastic because it's about probability.
Yeah, it's like I don't drink much. I don't drink beer. I drink wine. I used to drink wine. I haven't drank anything for ages since the liver cancer. I'm more like a sweet tooth person. I crave desserts. So maybe, yes, sugar was a high risk there. I always exercise. I was always riding my bike and playing at anything that I could, like from, pong or to hockey or whatever, always active. So I was always out of the high risk group, but that's it. It got me, and there's nothing that I...
That's what amazes me of you, is like, you believe that life is being unfair with you, but you are not angry.
No, I'm happy. I'm happy with my life. I'm not happy of being sick. I'm not happy of dying. Definitely not.
No,
but I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with...
That amazes me. I don't understand, because I imagine myself, if I have the feeling of being treated unfairly, I will be angry, I will be resentful, I will be bitter against...
Yes, and those thoughts, they come and go, of course. You have moments and say, why? Or how come you see people that do exceed with everything, from drugs, smoking, drinking, and you see near the poor people that people that are completely
like exceeding
all the possible ways, and they are on the 70 plus, totally wear out, and they're still going. And say, well, that's not fair. No, it's not fair.
It's not fair.
But there's no way to be fair. Like, in myself being angry, it's not gonna change anything. I'm not gonna be cured, happy, healthy by being angry. The same way that if the other person was dying of cancer and I was not, that wouldn't be fair either. By being angry or resentful or whatever because of the cancer, that is not gonna make any difference. I could crawl up in a ball and be at home crying and feeling sorry about myself, but that doesn't change anything. It's not gonna make the disease go away, and it's not gonna make any...
That's the way people cure cancer.
Yeah, probably.
Cry
maybe that's what I'm doing wrong.
That's why. See, try crying the whole day on your couch, and you're gonna feel better.
But that's how I feel.
I wouldn't add anything else to this. I will thank you very much.
No, thank you
for talking about this topic with me. And well, I wish you best of luck with everything, and don't worry, because anyway we're gonna meet again at some point. A lot of things to think about. Thank you, Mauricio.
Thank you.